Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from pad 40 and throttled down to prepare for max Q, which is coming up at aerodynamic pressures. That's the largest structural load that the vehicle will see on ascent. We throttled down those engines just to pass through max Q, and then we'll throttle them back up once we pass through that period.
Falcon 9 is supersonic. Maximum dynamic pressure.
And great news, we have passed through max Q. You're getting some excellent views there on your screen. Next up, we have a few events happening back-to-back. That will be MECO, stage separation, and SES-1. MECO is main engine cutoff, and that's where we'll shut down all 9 of the M1D engines to slow the vehicle down in preparation for its next event, which is
MVAC chill has started.
Stage separation. And that's where the first stage separates from the second stage, right after stage 15 seconds or so. Again, coming up, we have MECO, stage separation, and SES-1.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
Some really cool views of MECO stage separation, and on your right-hand screen, you can see that the MVAC engine has ignited.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
On your left-hand screen, the grid fins on the first stage are deploying, and in about 15 seconds or so, we should have fairing separation. And a very cool view from the ground.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there you can see on your right-hand screen that the fairing halves have deployed. Now, as I mentioned previously, both fairing halves are brand new and are now making their way back down to Earth and will be recovered by our recovery vessel, Doug, today. That is nitrogen gas puffs for attitude control.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
And there you can see the engines have reignited on the first stage on your left-hand screen. This is the entry burn with 3 of 9 M1D engines reignited. For the first there you can see that the MVAC engine has shut down and the landing burn has begun on the first stage vehicle.
Expect a loss signal, Cape. Nominal orbit insertion.
What an incredible clear view of Falcon 9 touching down on a shortfall of gravitas. This landing marks the second successful landing for this particular booster and marks our 204th overall successful recovery of an orbital class rocket, including both Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy first stages. Second stage, fairing separation, and first stage landing. Now, coming up shortly, we'll have our second burn of our MVAC engine on stage 2 prior to payload deploy, which basically means that we will relight and shut down the second stage engine for a second and last time. Now, SES-2 is coming up here in just about 10 seconds or so. Again, SES-2 is second stage engine start 2, and then we will shut down that MVAC engine about a minute and a half later.
MVAC ignition.
There we heard that call out, and you can see on your screen that the MVAC has reignited. Again, this burn will last about 90 seconds. And it will be the last burn of stage 2 before we deploy the payload. As a reminder, the Euclid payload is still attached to the... Now we should have SECO-2 coming up here in a few seconds. That is second stage engine cutoff. Again, will be the conclusion of the second and final burn for this mission.
MVAC shutdown.
We've just had SECO-2.
Nominal orbit insertion.
There's that call out. We just had SECO-2 and confirmation of good orbit. So with successful second engine start and cutoff, we'll join you live to cover payload deployment in seconds.
Euclid spacecraft separation confirmed.
And there you can see the Euclid payload drifting away from Falcon 9's second stage. With that confirmation, we'll bring today's webcast to a close. Today's mission marked SpaceX's 243rd overall mission to date and 44th mission of this year. We want to thank the European Space Agency for entrusting us with today's mission and all of you for joining.